Yes! Oh, man. Oh, man. The schedule is out. The 2023 NFL season can begin. Kind of melancholy for me because my Chiefs won the Super Bowl. I'm kind of wanting to hold on to that. I'm kind of wanting to just kind of enjoy being the Super Bowl champs a little longer. But the new season's here and a new challenge. I'm an old school guy. But I want to start off by saying normally anything that's new or different, I tend to kind of frown upon. I tend not to like it, but this is kind of an exception with the Black Friday game. I want to give the NFL a lot of credit. What a brilliant idea to have a game on Black Friday. What a brilliant, brilliant idea. How I'm going to do this, I'm not really sure. I thought the best thing to do would just be to kind of show my screen. I got the NFL schedule up. You can go to www.nfl.com, bring up the schedule. I thought I'd kind of go over some things. I'm just going to go through every week, kind of go through some games that I am interested in, and I'd love to know what you think. The season opener, Keys, man, welcome, brother. I read the Bengals guaranteed. Yeah, I saw that too. And there's a rumor that Amazon New York has some deal because it is Dolphins and Jets, which I think is great. To be honest with you, but Mike Brown, who it's kind of funny. I kind of want to talk about how much I'm impressed with what the Bengals have been doing, but supposedly Mike Brown's been pushing for this for a while. So, I heard the same thing. I don't know if it's true or not, but week one, I think it's a really great game. And what it is that you got the king of the jungle here, and that's Kansas City Chiefs. And then you have the Detroit Lions, an up-and-coming team. They went 8-2. To finish the season, and they come to Arrowhead to kick off the game. You have two high-scoring offenses. I think this is just a great start to the season, and also for my Lions fans, I already heard some trash talk, and yeah. Exactly. I heard the same thing. So that's that. I think it's a brilliant move, to be honest with you. I think it's brilliant from the NFL and Amazon. I traditionally don't like new things, being the old school guy. Yeah, exactly. But being an old school guy, traditionally I'm against new things. But I think that Black Friday game is just awesome. Me personally, I think anybody who goes to a store on Black Friday is insane. I mean, you can do almost everything online, and it's just nuts. Andy Reid with time is the greatest coach in NFL history. 9-1 in Kansas City for season openers, including 8 straight. The one loss was one of the flukiest games ever. But I think this is a great thing because you have an up-and-coming Lions team. You have the king of the jungle in Kansas City, and you also have Goff and Mahomes on Monday night a couple of years ago had that 54-51 shootout. So, Jason Peterson 8, man, welcome, brother, man, great to see you, man. And there's been a lot. I got some DMs from the Lions trash talk, and I'm a little surprised, to be honest with you. But it's going to be a good game. It's going to be a good game, and I love it. By the way, I love it. And to kick off the regular season, I have not spoke to Luke G yet, but I'm hopeful that me and him can get together and do something. I'm really, really excited. But there has never been a coach better with time than Andy Reid in NFL history. So you have your hands full. 8 straight, season opening wins. Patrick Mahomes undefeated in season opener. So I'm just throwing that out there. Man, Jason, I am I'm excited, but I'm also kind of sad because I want to hold on to my Super Bowl win a little longer, but I got to let it go now. By the way, let me know if you guys can see my screen okay. On my end, it's a little blurry. Hopefully you guys can see it okay. I tried to play around because the other font like this is smaller. So this is like, I would know you guys want to see me as much as possible, but I can actually block me out. I have a few options, but I will say this. I'm kind of hoping the Chiefs lose a game early. That way we don't have to hear the undefeated talk. So, but you couldn't kick off the season with a better game. You could not. Thanks, Jason. I really don't think you could kick off the season with a better game. You have 2 high-powered offenses. That's awesome to hear. Thanks, brother. 2 good offenses. Exciting environment. And unless the Lions get blown out, even if they lose, it's a good way to start off the season. You play a tough opponent early on. By the way, I do have the Lions schedule pulled up. If you Lions fans want to, I can kind of go over their schedule, but I'm just going to do the NFL, just kind of go down some things here. On my end, then any questions you have, I pride myself on, if you have a question, I have an answer. So I'm ready to go. Some really good division games early on. Panthers Falcons, which I'm really excited to see. You get Bryce Young versus Desmond Ridder. I'm assuming Bryce Young's going to start. Bengals Browns week 1, I think is just great. Absolutely great. Jaguars Colts. Some nice interconference games here. Tennessee Saints. I think that's kind of interesting. I like Cardinals and Washington. And the reason why is one of these teams is going to start season 1-0. I think that's really neat. Packers Bears week 1 is also awesome. Raiders Broncos, and then you have a nice AFC matchup. Dolphins Chargers. Sunday nights Cowboys and Giants. Great job by the NFL getting the schedule. Week 1 is going to be awesome, and then Monday night, what a great idea! Bills Jets prime time AFC East matchup. So. Now you do know last time Jared Goff. Yeah. By the way, that was as a Ram, and that Rams coaching staff has several guys that have taken head coaching jobs. So I mean, it's not. I mean, it's a nice reach, Jason. I mean, it's a nice reach, But yeah, I'm fully aware. Fully aware. It's going to be a good game. We're going to do lots of. There's going to be lots of trash talk. I'm really looking forward to it. Week 2, Vikings Eagles for Thursday night. Potentially really great game. Some really great games like Ravens Bengals. I mean, the Bengals early on get kind of a tough road here. For you Lions fans, Seahawks come to town. That's going to be a good one. Colts Texans early. I think this could be a lot of fun. I'd love to see 2 rookie quarterbacks playing here. We'll have to wait and see. I like Sunday night Dolphins at Patriots. Big game early. I think it's a good game. And then 2 Monday night games. We got Saints, Panthers, Browns, Steelers. Some division games here. You got an NFC and an AFC game. I mean, I can't. It's kind of fun to kind of bag on the NFL. It's kind of fun to be like, hey, boo. But I mean, they just did a fantastic. This schedule is awesome. I don't know why I'm drinking an energy drink. I don't need it. I'm really jacked up today. I love this NFC, AFC. What a great job by the NFL. We'll go week 3 here. Giants, Niners. What a great job for Thursday night. Colts, Ravens. That's kind of going to, I mean, there's some really fun games here. If you Lions fans, Falcons at Lions week 3, that's going to be a lot of fun. AFC South matchup, Texans at Jaguars. That could be very interesting. I can't wait to a ball. God, that I'm gonna tell you something. The AFC North really, I mean, the AFC East and the AFC North really stand out to me because the AFC North, you get Lamar Jackson, you got Odell Beckham, you have a really, really good defense, and you have some free agents that they could still sign. You got somebody like Marcus Peters, who I believe is unsigned, Justin Houston, who traditionally is signed just a few weeks before the season. I don't know if you want to go that way. Also, don't forget they drafted David Ojabo in the 2nd round. He was, I think, playing a little bit towards the end of the year sparingly. Will he earn a starting job? That's going to be very interesting. If you remember, there's some people thought he had a top 10 grade, and then he tore his ACL, I believe, at the pro day. So that's going to be really, really interesting. So, seriously, I think Zay Flowers. I really think that to be honest though, the AFC South and the AFC East, really, I mean, you got Miami made some moves to get better. New England made some moves to get better. Of course, the Jets get Aaron Rodgers, and then the Bills. I think the in the draft. Nailing Kincaid, and then they got one of my huge draft crushes in Osiris Torrance. I think just in the draft did get a little better. They lost some players in free agency, but the AFC North, I've been telling people don't sleep on the Browns. I've been telling people don't sleep on the Steelers. And everybody wants to talk about the Ravens. Everybody's going to talk about the Bengals. That's going to be a brutal division. But the AFC West, I don't see that at all, man. I think you have Kansas City is probably going to win this division by early December. I don't think that there's a contender in the AFC West. You have Denver, which I like what they did with the coaching staff. I like what they did in free agency. I like what they did in the draft. The Raiders, it's kind of funny. Somebody I respect gave the Raiders draft an A-, and I was like, ooh, but if Tyree Wilson's the best player on your board, if he's your best edge rusher and the Raiders get him at 7, Michael Mayer was my number 1 tight end, depending on what type of team you have. You have a team like Kansas City, it would be Kincaid, but overall, Michael Mayer is my number 1 tight end. You get him in the top of the 2nd round. It's going to be a lot of fun. Absolutely, Jason. AFC East is going to be the most watched conference. There's some really good games here. For those of you who are old school people like myself, Steelers at Raiders here week 3 is really, really, really interesting. And then Monday night, you got a double dip, Eagles, Bucks, Rams, Bengals. That's going to be a lot of fun. Have you seen the Giants' schedule? They have 7 straight road games. I don't know what the NFL was doing with their schedule. You know what? Let me double check that. To be honest with you, I did not know that. Hold on one moment here. Oops, did not mean to do that. All right. Here, hold on. I'll have to do this in a different way here. Bear with me one second here, and I will bring up the Giants' schedule because I actually was not aware of that, to tell you the truth. That's really, really interesting. It's kind of funny. So let's see here. 7 straight road. I got the schedule pulled up. I don't see that at all. They got 3 straight road games. So I think you just kind of made a mistake. But that's all right. Funk, what's up, man? My Lions have a revenge tour coming. Seahawks, Baker Mayfield, and how they screwed the Lions week 18, plus guys like Kaminsky and Monty get to play their former. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. A lot of fun here. That would be me. I'm old school through and through. Yeah, I think the AFC East is just going to be a lot of fun, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. No, they don't have 7 straight home games. I think Peyton's going to make a much bigger difference, and that Kellen Moore calling the plays for the Chargers to make a bigger difference too. I'll stay higher on those teams. You know, it's kind of funny. I normally, because I keep saying that the Chargers, you know, with some really just a change in the coaching staff. I think if you took Chiefs coaching staff, put them on the Chargers, you could have a 13-14 win team easy. I think it may take some time. I wasn't fond of the draft, not anything to do with the players. It's just that I really think that they needed help on the defensive side of the ball, not the offensive side of the ball. But I think Sean Payton. One thing I mentioned in my video about the Chiefs, I love that the Chiefs play Denver early in the season. I think that it'll be some problems. So. The AFC South has the potential to be a lot of fun. I think the Jaguars are got to be the favorites, but it'll be interesting to see what happens. With the other 3 teams. But I think Jacksonville's going. It's kind of funny because I have the big 3 in the AFC: Kansas City, Buffalo, and Cincinnati, and I'm not ready to put Jacksonville at number 4 yet, but they're my favorite to win that division. It's going to be interesting. Yeah. I it's all right, man. It's all right. It threw me off. I was like, really? And so I don't have all the team schedules. I did a video just on the Chiefs, but I didn't go over all the teams. For you Lions fans, Thursday night. 2 Thursday night games in September. This is awesome here. And this is a good one. Detroit at Green Bay. This is going to be a lot of fun. Jacksonville gets back-to-back London games, which I really like. Dolphins, Bills. I mean, this is going to be great. Baltimore, Cleveland, some really good games here. Prime time, Kansas City at New York. A little Mahomes versus Rodgers. It's going to be a lot of fun. This could potentially be a really good game, Seattle at the Giants. So almost every game for the Lions has some meaning behind it this year. If you include the Thanksgiving game, the Lions have 5-time primetime games in Minnesota week 18, could be flexed crazy. What's really interesting is when I look at the Lions schedule, I do have the Lions schedule pulled up. Week 13 to week 17, you have 5 games, and 4 of them are on the road, and then the week 18 game is against Minnesota. And one thing I've noticed is that week 16, you play the Vikings on the road. Week 17, Dallas on the road. Week 18, Minnesota at home. And what the NFL is thinking is that it's going to be a battle between Detroit and Minnesota. But what I'm looking at is that if you can get to December. With a really you kind of need to get to December with a really, really good record because that's going to be. I mean, keep in mind, Chicago week 14, you may be able to go away, but it's a divisional game. The home game is going to be against Denver. That's going to be interesting. The games against the Saints and the Cowboys could be for playoff positioning. It's really, really interesting. With the Lions schedule. Really, really interesting with the Lions schedule. I think that they need to get out to a fast start because that December is going to be tough, man. Poor Derrick Henry. Got their first round pick out of Arkansas last year. 19 minutes in, I had another name freeze. Can't think of his name, but he needs to take big step. Treylon Burks. He needs to take a big step up. A huge step up. 2 Thursday night games in 1 month. The NFL, I'll tell you right now, the NFL loves Kansas City. The NFL loves Kansas City. And this is what you get. Hey, listen, it's a different world for you Lions fans. It's a different world. There's a huge difference between a 3-win team and a 9-win team. So it's a different world, man. It's going to be a different world. At the end of the year is a lot of NFC North, and the game that scares me out of all of them the most is ironically Chicago. That is kind of interesting, to tell you the truth. The Saints, week 13, that could be for playoff positioning. Week 17, Dallas is a tough one. And then you get Minnesota twice there. That's a tough one, man. And I think what it is that the NFL is doing, like I said, I really think that they believe it's going to be Minnesota versus Detroit to win that division. I have not. So the NFL release show, I made a video for my Chiefs, so I'm only halfway through it. I only got to see the one for Cleveland so far. I have it on DVR. I'm going to watch it this weekend, but no, I haven't. I saw the one for the Broncos just right before I came on. I'm a big Office fan, but I was like, it's okay. They could have done better. Kind of feel bad for the Lions. I actually like them, but man, I can't root for them playing my team week 1. I mean, I think it's a great job by the NFL by giving an up and coming team like Detroit the world champions. I think that is just brilliant. Just brilliant. Chicago's out the doors at the end of the season. Lions have a track team and a weak arm quarterback, scary environment. I get what you're saying. I mean, look, the end of season with you got, what is it? 4 out of 5. Now that week 18's at home, but 4 out of 5 on the road. That's tough, man. Your schedule's not easy. Your schedule is not easy. So you should be. You should be really happy. I mean, it was really impressive what you guys did at the end of the season. Week 1 is when I wanted y'all. No new film. There's not a better coach in NFL history with time. Not a coach better in NFL history of time than Andy Reid. So. I haven't had a chance. You know what? I'm pretty sure I looked at it, but I'm drawing a blank on the Chargers. But I got Denver Gators in the house. All right. Denver Gator. Welcome, brother, man. Thursday, October 5th, Chicago at Washington could be a potentially really good game. Jacksonville. This is the second game in London, kind of an advantage here for Buffalo. Panthers at Lions, kind of a revenge game for last year here, so that's a good one here. Titans at Colts, which I really like. Ravens at Steelers, that's going to be a fun one. Sunday night, Cowboys at 49ers. This could be a very important game. Monday night, kind of an interesting game here. Green Bay at the Raiders. I mean, I'm kind of thinking this one, Chiefs at Vikings. I'm kind of thinking that would be a game that the Chiefs may drop that game. That would be a little sad for me, but Jared Goff does not have a weak arm. Stop it. I know 8-0, blah, blah, blah. I'll show you. You're right. You are right. You're completely right. I'm here for the D2 women's softball news and updates. What did I miss? You missed a lot. Oh, man, I'm so glad to see you, Denver Gator. Joff does not have a strong stop. No new film on the Chiefs offense. Keys is kind of right there. I remember an old Andy Reid interview from years ago where he says he usually starts making plays after a month of the NFL season ending. Andy Reid is the best coach in NFL history with time, and that's why you don't want to play the Chiefs week 1. I seriously, you want to bet the over week one. Traditionally, that's a game that you want to bet the under, but I think this one, it could be the over. It's going to be a fun game. It's going to be a fun game. And I haven't got a hold of Luke G yet, but we need to, and hopefully me and Luke can do something fun. Let's see, what week am I on already? Week 6 here, a little Thursday night, Broncos Chiefs, always a good time. Arrowhead primetime games, a lot of fun. Ravens Titans could be a fun game here. Vikings Bears, a little divisional fun here. Same thing with Colts Jags. That's kind of interesting. Giants Bills, Battle of New York. I really like that. This could be a really, really, really underrated game. Cowboys Chargers. This could be a lot of fun. It'll be a lot of fun. One funky Lions fan watch. Just watch. I love the trash talk, man. I want you guys to really be excited about your team, because you should be. You really should be. You really should be. So I'm betting on Snead getting more than one sack and nursing corner blitz like him. I mean, it's kind of interesting because Snead's up for a contract. Willie Gay's up for a contract. We signed Drew Thornhill, a linebacker from the Chargers, on a 1-year deal. Gave him $4 million. It's kind of interesting because he's like the number 4 linebacker on the team. It'll be very interesting to see what's going on. Thursday, a little Jags Saints. I kind of like this one. For you Lions fans, at Baltimore, that's a tough one. I really like this. Bills, Patriots, Washington Giants, some really good division games here. Week 7, Falcons, Bucks, Sunday night, Dolphins at Eagles. That's going to be a good one. This could be a really good game for Monday night. San Francisco at Minnesota could be a lot of fun. I mean, got some really good stuff here. If you think Garrett, all right. I encourage the trash talk, but let's not be insulting here. Let's gotta keep everything kind of PG here. Battle for New York when only one team has home field in New York. Well, I mean, yeah, you have the Jets, you have the Giants, and you have the Bills. Even though most people, don't consider Buffalo part of New York. It's kind of weird, but. All right, I'm having some technical difficulties here. All right, sorry about that. Bucks and Bills. It'll be I'm kind of curious to see how good Tampa Bay is. I mean, early on, it'll be a little interesting. I wonder if the Chiefs are trying to move Leo Chenal to edge, because what he did in college was unblockable when he used 5-man rush at Washington. Well, it's kind of funny because Keys has been mentioning that the Chiefs look like they're using more of a 3-4 front, and I've been arguing and fighting that. But after the draft, I'm kind of like, they drafted players that kind of fit a 3-4 front. And I'm kind of interested to see what the Chiefs are going to do defensively. So it's kind of interesting to see what they're doing. But yeah, that's a possibility. The only I'm anxious to see what a lot of teams are going to look like. But the Raiders are interesting. I mean, I think there is some risk in Tyree Wilson, but if you think he's the best defensive player in the league and you get him at 7, it could be really, really good. There's a lot of good games. Vikings, Packers here. I think Saints at Colts could be a lot of fun here. Patriots at Dolphins is going to be a good one. Bears at Chargers. This is going to be interesting. And then Monday Night Football for you Lions fans. You get the Raiders coming to town October 30th. So a little Halloween Eve. This could be a lot of fun for the Lions. This is going to be a fun game. So you Lions fans, hey, man, you win, you get on prime time. And this is the most I've seen. 3 primetime games for the Lions already? We're not even halfway through the season. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Very underrated game here to start November out. Titans and Steelers playoff implications here. This game will be in Germany. This is going to be a lot of fun. Dolphins, it says at Chiefs, but it's in Germany. So Vikings, Falcons. Actually, there was one game that kind of stood out here, and I think Colts Panthers could be very interesting here. Hopefully, we'll see some rookie quarterback action here. Really good game here. Cowboys Eagles. This is the game I was looking for. Buffalo at Cincinnati. Of course, everybody remembers what happened last time. Doesn't happen again, but this is going to be a fun game. Really glad they have this on prime time, and this could be a lot of fun here. Chargers traveling to New York to play the Jets on Monday night. Hopefully, playoff implications here. Even though it's November, we could have some playoff implication. Brady trying to buy stakes in the Raiders. Daniels could win three games and keep his job. It's going to be interesting to see how this works out. The way I understand, the Raiders have some cash problems, and Brady has a lot of money. And it's going to be interesting to see how that works out. But he could be a minority owner, and I think that's good for the NFL, to be honest. My bold prediction is Carolina making the playoffs. I don't know why, but they have a good secondary to help. Here's the thing: the defense is really good. The problem was the offense was just bogged down so bad. But you got Miles Sanders. You do lose your number one receiver. But you got some talent there offensively. I mean, but bottom line, Miles Sanders is going to have a big year in order for this to happen, and the defense needs to be a top 10 defense. So I'm gonna try. I hate the NFL. Let's keep this here. My bold predictions: Carolina making the playoffs. That's going to be a tough one. I have a hard time, but the Chiefs are going to sell any of their ownership share. No, it's Raiders, not Chiefs. Dan, like my Lions did halfway through last year, I think a lot of teams are going to start running a 3-4 under base. Yes, most snaps will be on the nickel, but it's scheme count. Yeah, and I've been arguing this because Spags has done basically the same thing for the last, he's won, 2 Super Bowls as defensive coordinator, and then 2 as a Giants defensive coordinator, 2 games as 2 Super Bowls as chief defensive coordinator. And it's been kind of the same concept. So I don't think he's going to try to reinvent himself, but it kind of looks like that's kind of what he's doing. Because they got some undersized, I'm not. Oh, okay. Yeah. Broncos have exhausted their Raiders. I caught it now. Yeah, I did miss that joke completely. So, but Funk. I'm kind of thinking that's what Kansas City's kind of doing, because what they've done is that they brought in players that are kind of really undersized teams. And I think that what you're going to see is more of a teams playing like either a 3-3-5 or a 4-2-5. And I think you're going to see a lot more 3-3-5 concepts that you're seeing in college, where you have like a nose, 2 defensive ends, and then your linebackers are like pseudo rushers, safeties, and then you have a middle linebacker. And basically the only 2 positions that really stay the same is you have a defensive tackle and you have a middle linebacker, and then your defensive ends and your outside linebackers are like, they can be like pseudo. The defensive ends are like pseudo defensive end linebackers, and then the back 3 are pseudo linebacker safety types. And then you have like kind of a base, either 3 corners or 3 safeties. The NFL's changing, man. But yeah, it's funny because I used 3-4 and 4-3, and those concepts almost don't exist anymore. Week 10 here, Panthers at Bears, 2 young quarterbacks. This is going to be a fun game. May not have playoff implications. Now, according to I Hate the NFL, this will have playoff implications with the Panthers, but this is going to be a lot of fun. The London game is going to be Indianapolis at the Patriots. Could be a fun game. Browns, Ravens, that's going to be a heck of a game. Your Lions are going to play the Chargers. Hopefully the Lions get it done. Sunday night, Jets at Raiders in Vegas. That's going to be a lot of fun. Monday night, Denver at Buffalo. I got you. I got you. We understood. We understood completely what you meant. So like, no worries there. This is just I can't wait for this one. This could be a huge game. Bengals at Baltimore. I mean, this is week where am I at? Week 11 already. Yes, this is week 11. This could be a massive game. Really looking forward to this. Steelers at Browns could also have playoff implications. Chicago at Detroit, really fun game there. Sunday night could be a lot of fun. Minnesota at Denver could be a lot of fun, and of course, Monday night a rematch of the Super Bowl. This is just going to be a great game, and both the Eagles and the Chiefs will be fresh off of a bye for this one, so it's going to be a lot of fun. I think we can see a lot of 2-4 nickel, a lot too, and nose tackle, defensive tackle, 2 rush linebackers, and a safety playing near the box. I think you could, and I think teams. I don't know if teams are going to call that a 2-4, but that's kind of what you're doing. I mean, this goes all the way back to Belichick. Super Bowl, I think it's Super Bowl 25, where the Bills played the Giants, and the Giants did this radical new thing where instead of using their 3-4 defense, they just said, hey, we're going to use 2 defensive linemen as a base package. And that's kind of what started the trend of, kind of a base nickel early. But I think that's what you're seeing is that you're just seeing more and more linebackers. It kind of makes me think because the Chiefs, they have Leo Chenal they drafted in the 3rd round. They brought in Drew Tranquill from the Chargers. He was a starter last year. They gave him $4 million. You don't get $4 million to a backup. I mean, not for a team trying to win a Super Bowl like Kansas City. So it's going to be really interesting. You're seeing a lot of it ever. Man, I hate we don't have a lot of noon games because my daughter. I mean, yeah, the Chiefs don't play a lot of noon games. I mean, it's going to be a lot of fun. By the way, I'm doing every single Chiefs game live, regular season. I'm not going to do the preseason, but every single regular season game I'm going to do live, including Christmas. So I'll be live. You can watch me on Christmas. It's preseason. No one has beaten the Chargers ever. If you're not familiar with this, the Chargers are always the favorite to win the NFC West in the preseason. Today, I came across a good new thread on the Seahawks stitch a few years ago, and the conclusion the difference between the two is very subtle and nuanced. Are you talking about this or Seahawks stitch a few years ago, including the difference? Are you talking about this? Are you talking about this? I'm a little lost here. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's actually funny because so what it is that with the coaching staff, okay, so the Seahawks coaching staff that they brought in a multifaceted 3-4 defense where Dan Quinn ran a very base 4-3 package, and the Dan Quinn 4-3 package was as simple as it got, but it worked really well. They led the NFL in scoring for 4 straight years, the Legion of Boom. And the reason why it worked is because they had now Earl Thomas may not make the Hall of Fame. He had some weird incidents happen on and off the field and getting kicked off the Ravens and stuff like that. But when he was with Seattle, he's a Hall of Fame player. Richard Sherman's a Hall of Fame player. Cam Chancellor, I think, belongs in the Hall of Fame, and don't forget Bobby Wagner when everything's said and done. He'll be a, top. Honestly, Bobby Wagner really deserves more credit as being maybe the best middle linebacker. Maybe not in NFL history, but should be like top 5. I mean, he's really, 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 really good. And it's when you have that much talent on defense and you just run a basic, simple scheme, Because you have to realize those guys did a lot of film work, a lot of studying. So like when they improvised, they kind of knew what they were doing, but they were just in a very basic scheme. The problem was when Dan Quinn left and took the head coaching job at Atlanta, he wanted to run that same defense, but he didn't have the talent, and it was just awful. I mean, it was just awful. And like if you take a Tampa 2 defense, for example, you have to have a stud up front. This is kind of the reason why the Houston Texans didn't work last year, because they didn't have a stud. They tried to do a rotation system, and it didn't work. But yeah, their switch in Seattle, what they did is they brought in I want to say it's Mike Desi. He's going to be an NFL head coach very, very soon, and it's a very complex. He learned under Vic Fangio. He was Vic Fangio's right-hand man, so they brought in kind of the Vic Fangio 3-4 defense, and it's very complex, and it's nuanced, and it's not a easy switch, and that's also the reason why the Seahawks were, I think it's 30th in run defense. I mean, they had some real holes on defense last year. That was the reason why they spent some money on the defensive line. They got some new starters. They're bringing Bobby Wagner back. But yeah, I mean, I can kind of go on about this for a while. But yeah, send me that link. Seahawks had a better quarterback than Geno Smith. I'm not sold on their defense. I mean, the defense was really bad, and they have to fix that. But they did do a lot in free agency. I like what they did in the draft. I think Geno Smith might be okay. It's going to be, in my opinion, it's going to be. Here's the deal: if you're Seattle and you have if you have a good defense, and Jackson Smith and Najigba can get involved in the offense quickly, the Seahawks are a team that you better watch out for. I definitely watch out for. Wagner in the top 5. I don't know. Seriously, Bobby Wagner really deserves credit. I mean, my greatest middle linebacker of all time is Ray Lewis. When you bring up the greatest of all time, length of time means a lot to me. So was Butkus at his prime better than Ray Lewis at his prime? Yeah, but Ray Lewis played for twice as long as Butkus did. So when I do all time, I would probably have Ray Lewis, Butkus. God, I want to put Bobby Wagner at number 3. I'm gonna think about that, but Bobby Wagner maybe number 3. He's that good. He's that good. Junior Seau maybe in the mix. Zach Thomas. For those of you who are thinking, Jack Lambert, I mean, he's definitely in the top 10. I believe it or not, I put Wagner over Lambert. Now, what Lambert meant to the Steelers is very important because he brought an attitude. But oh God, Derek Brooks is one. Derek Brooks, God, that's a good one. I might have to put Derek Brooks over Wagner. I'll have to think about that. But Wagner in the top 5, maybe. Oh, when everything's said and done, possibly. Ravens, be more, man. Oh, dude, yeah. There's a lot to be excited about in Baltimore. Odell Beckham, Lamar Jackson, your defense. I'm really curious to see David Ajabo. Does he earn a starting spot? Is he going to be a rotational guy? That's going to be very interesting to see here. Wagner top 10. I can think of 5 or so. I love, yeah, definitely top 10, maybe top 5. I have to think about that, man. That secondary was good. Earl Thomas should be in the Hall of Fame. Weird instances may keep him out. Cam Chancellor should be in the Hall. He may get out. He may not make it. Richard Sherman, really, 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 really good. Really good corner. A couple of years, he was the best. Just amazing. Oh, God, yeah, Singletary. Yeah, Singletary belongs in the conversation. I mean, I have to do some thinking about that. I love it. Yeah, we need more Ravens fans, man. We need more Ravens fans, man. Singletary Lewis, the crazy dude from New York. Now we're now hold on. I'm just going middle linebackers, just middle linebackers. So, yeah. By the way, Ravens. I don't know if you're aware of this, but I'm actually from Baltimore. Baltimore. I still have family. Well, technically, my aunt, when the riots happened, she moved. I know it's on the Delaware line, but yeah, yeah. Yeah, but I'm actually you're showing my age. I used to go to Baltimore Colts games when I was a little kid. Yeah, so but yeah, I still got family in Baltimore, so I got a lot of love for the Ravens. But I moved right after the Colts did, so I mean, I don't even. They're not really my second team, but there's a lot of love for Baltimore. A lot of love from Baltimore. Yeah, no, yeah. The Bengals fans are quickly becoming one of the most irritating fan base in the league. Really, really irritating. So yeah, there's a lot of people who want to shut Bengals fans. Met Brooks, yeah, Derek Brooks. Oh God, love Derek Brooks. That year that the Tampa Bay won the Super Bowl, Brooks, that may have been the greatest season ever for a linebacker, middle linebacker, maybe the greatest season ever. You got me wondering, like I might have to do like a top 10 middle linebacker list. You really got me thinking. There's some good ones. You got Willie Lanier from the Kansas City Chiefs. More than one person's called him the greatest middle linebacker of all time. Chiefs fans don't realize that when you talk about the greatest linebackers of all time, they want to say Derek Thomas. Like, no, it's Willie Lanier, and it's not even a debate really. But you go down NFL history, you forget about that. You got Nowitzki from Green Bay, another really good inside linebacker. Didn't have a lot of awards, just steady, just awesome, man. I have to think about that. Guy, I seriously, you have Rashad Bateman, a guy I was really high on. You got him. You got Mark Andrews, phenomenal tight end. I always get the name wrong. I want to say J.K. Dobbins. Hopefully, I got that right. When he was at Ohio State, if he just stays healthy, your offense just awesome. If your running backs stay healthy, yeah. I'm really surprised Odell Beckham got the number one, got all that money, and I have no idea how Baltimore did that, to be honest with you. But if he pans out, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. That AFC North is such an underrated division. Everybody's talking about the Bengals. The Ravens made some big moves. Pittsburgh had a great draft, really underrated move. Plus, the rookies they had last year could really improve. Their offensive line gets better. TJ Watt could be healthy. And I've been telling everybody, just watch out for Cleveland. Watch out for Cleveland. That AFC North's really, really good. Top to bottom. All four of those teams are really good. I'm interested to see how the offense changes. I said for the past 3 years, Roman was the main weak link to me. Had his hand in losses to KC. Yeah, you're right. I mean, this is going to be very interesting because what they're doing is they brought in, I think it's Mike Monahan, the offensive coordinator out of Georgia. And if you've been paying attention to what Georgia's done, Georgia's a run-heavy offense, but they have a lot of NFL schemes, what they do. And he's kind of a big part, even though Georgia is mostly known for defense. Over the last couple of years, the offense has been pretty good for the Georgia Bulldogs. It'll be interesting to see if the Georgia Bulldogs can repeat because they're starting to lose people from their coaching staff, just like Nick Saban's done over the years. The head coach for the Georgia Bulldogs was the Alabama Crimson Tide defensive coordinator for the longest time. I'm drawing a complete blank on his name, but yeah. I have to admit that really floored me. And then when they signed him, they said we're not promising you Lamar's going to be here, and then they gave Lamar all that money. So we're going to have to wait and see. Oh God, Urlacher! Actually, this is a good one. I mean, how do you rank Butkus, Urlacher, and Singletary? I mean, I would put Butkus at 1, but Urlacher and Singletary. I mean, that's a tough one. Lawrence Taylor's the best rush linebacker of all time. I think if you never saw him, think Von Miller on steroids and all. Best defensive player I've ever seen is Lawrence Taylor. Best defensive player I've ever seen is Lawrence Taylor. I'll probably die on that hill. Reggie White is an Eagle, comes close. Believe it or not, just pure defensive player. This may sound a little crazy, but Deion Sanders, how he affected a team, affected a game, is right up there. But yeah, Lawrence Taylor, best defensive player. Ronnie Lott, that's another guy. Ronnie Lott, Reggie White, Lawrence Taylor. If you never saw Lawrence Taylor, Von Miller, bigger, stronger, faster. That's actually an excellent comparison. Yeah, me too. Yeah. Raven 76. I love OBJ. I just don't think he's a wide receiver number one no more, but his offense will based on how good Lamar is. And it's interesting because there was a lot of holes in Lamar's game. Todd Monken, yeah, that's a guy's name. Real big signing, and this has to work. One thing I've noticed is that if you haven't paid attention with Baltimore Suns, they brought people in from the college ranks, and they're changing a lot of their things. So it's kind of interesting to see what they're doing offensively and defensively. So I give Baltimore a lot of credit. Luke Kuechly put a bid for top 10. Who was the dude rolled it? Oh, God, yeah. Brian Cushion, I wouldn't put in my top 10. Kuechly. Patrick Willis is another guy I left off. Why didn't I think? Patrick Willis, he only played, I think, 10 years. So good. Patrick Willis, so good. Just a monster. We got you. We're not grammar Nazis here. Kirby Smart, yeah, great coach, really, really underrated. I mean, wins 2 national championships, and I can't even think of his name. I could see that Baltimore had to pay him to change the narrative and attract top tier wide receiver to Baltimore in the future. Well, I can't believe I just forgot his name. The former first round pick out of Minnesota. I just nailed it. Too, and then I just forgot his name. I just mentioned it and I just forgot it. I want to see Odell Beckham. One thing I've heard about Odell Beckham is that he's a phenomenal teammate, and I want to see how he rubs off on the other Ravens wide receivers, because it could be like a one and done deal. He could just be there for 1 year. Bateman, yeah, that's the guy I was trying to think of. Rashad Bateman. Because Bateman was a guy I loved coming out of Minnesota. He had some injury problems, but he's a guy who could be a number one on his own. If I want to see Odell Beckham rub off on Bateman and some of those other receivers in Baltimore. So Keys. Now one funk, you nailed it like Dan when he sees a Big Bertha. Cushion, the guy's not in the top 10, but a fun watch. Dude would rage about every now and then. It was funny. I think didn't Cushing he looks like he could still play. He looks like he could still play. Brian Cushing was a yeah, it's a sad story, but Brian Cushing, really, really good player. Not that hard. Dan Singletary's had led one of the best defenses of all time. Ronnie Lott, most favorite player ever. Yeah. So at USC, they moved Marcus Allen from safety to running back. It was Ronnie Lott, Joey Browning. If you never watched him play, Joey Browner was a really good player. Kenny Easley, the NFL Network did like top 10 safeties all time. They're smart enough to put Kenny Easley in that list. If you didn't see Kenny Easley play, he only played like, I think 7 or 8 seasons. Just phenomenal player. And then you had Ronnie Lott. I mean, all 4 of them in same secondary at the same time. They asked Marcus Allen, can you just go to running back and we'll see what you can do there? Yeah. Dude, I really want to see OBJ have a good influence on Bateman. Bateman's a guy who has a lot of potential. Guy I loved coming out of Minnesota. Making his way to the ring. One Pride 40. Welcome, brother. We were just talking about you. And Big Bertha. So AJ Hawk could still play part-time. Oh, God, yes. I loved AJ Hawk, too. I know it's early, fellas. As of right now, what are your Super Bowl picks? Ravens, that's a great question. That's a great question. I think that, I mean, I hate to say it. But I don't think anybody's really ready to challenge the teams from last year. I mean, I still think it's Kansas City and Philly. I'm trying to figure out who the number 2 team is in the NFC, but in the AFC, I think Cincinnati took a small step back. I think Buffalo took a small step back. So did Kansas City. Jacksonville took a step up. Baltimore took a step up. I think New England's a team to watch out for. You got the Jets. I mean, the whole AFC is really interesting, but NFC, I don't see any team I would really think the put above Philly right now. Keep in mind, I'm a Chiefs fan, but I mean, five straight AFC conference games are at Arrowhead. So, yeah, Techno Bowl. We got Jason. Okay, so we got some age here, with Techno Bowl. Yeah, Joey Browner was really good. If you didn't get a chance to win, if you didn't get a chance to see Joey Browner play, really, really good player. Yeah. So by the way, One Pride sent me it was awesome. So by the way, all my social media links are below. DM me cool shit like One Pride did. So Dan, you don't think losing both coordinators puts the Eagles back a little bit? I think the Eagles, so every year I do like a plus minus thing. They not only lost both coordinators, they lost some of their position coaches. Gannon took the linebackers coach. He's going to be the new defensive coordinator. They also lost some players. But do I think that anybody has moved up to overtake the Eagles? No, I don't. Dallas is talented, but I don't see it. The Saints are kind of a sleeper. I'm not really sold on the Giants. It's hard for me with San Francisco to be on board with a team that has quarterback questions. I might say Seattle, to tell you the truth. But do I think? Yeah, I have a minus on the Eagles, but is anybody really stepped up? I don't see it. Right now, I think the Eagles are kind of head and shoulders the team to beat in the NFC. That's kind of my thought process. I mean, the defense is really good. You took care of Jalen Hurts. The offensive line solid. Just got some studs in the draft. So yeah. Chargers win Super Bowl. It's preseason. You are right, Chargers. Call me crazy. I got Niners versus the Jets. The Jets make a lot of sense. Me and Keys both have major man crushes on. I can't think. I can't believe it. I had to name Brees Hall. Sorry about that. Ravens be more. I'm bad with names. This is why you always call your girlfriend baby. We had huge man crushes on Brees Hall. He was on his way to winning Rookie of the Year before he got hurt. If he comes back and he's the same guy, and you put him with all those weapons that the Jets, if you give the Jets a really, really good offense combined with the defense that's still up and coming. I mean, yeah, I could see that. The only issue I have with the 49ers is despite how well Brock Purdy played, if you go into this season, you say Brock Purdy's our guy, I'm kind of snickering a little bit. Trey Lance, I mean, let's say he comes back from an injury, he should be at 100%. I was not sold on him at all. I mean, can he live up to all that potential? To tell you the truth, the best quarterback there is Sam Darnold, and I don't even know if they really plan on giving him a legitimate chance. So that's the issue I have, but the rest of the team's really good. You have a really good defense. I mean, you have Kittle, Deebo Samuel, McCaffrey, Trent Williams may be the best left tackle in football. So that's not bad at all. That's not a bad prediction at all. I have some questions about the Niners quarterback situation, and with the Jets, we're gonna have to see how that all works. Chargers and Cowboys try to talk it into existence. One Pride, and that's what he's talking. A week one loss here. Little late, doing some meditating. Good. Hey, always improve yourself. Love it. Losing Gannon probably. The tampering, the fact that you lose a draft pick and you're the Cardinals and get that is just nuts. What's crazy is the Mai Tai guy I showed just eating those punches. Yeah. You're not wrong. He was kind of mid. Yeah. This is the year to pound the under with San Francisco. By the way, I think I'm going to come out with it. I think I'm going to make the video Monday for be released on Tuesday. A video with just three teams that you want to bet on for over unders. Honorable mention. Here's the deal. I haven't even checked it, but a guy I respect in the gambling community, a guy I really want to get on this show. I haven't asked him yet, but one of the best sports bettors in the country. It's kind of cool because like when I'm sending him messages on Twitter, he's responded quite a bit. So like I'm not like a complete unknown, but I don't think he'd come on my show yet. Hopefully I can get a little bigger. I'd love to have him on, but one of the best sports bettors in the country. He put action on under 5.5 for the Cardinals, and he got a good number early. That number's been free falling. A lot of sports books are now 4.5. But I'm going to release the video. Hopefully I'll have it out either. I'm planning on making it Monday and then releasing it Tuesday. We'll wait and see. But three teams I really strongly suggest you bet on. With the Cardinals, I don't like betting on rookie head coaches. There's just too many unknown factors. But there are some teams I do like and I do want to bet on. So if the Jets make the Super Bowl, they will have earned it. Same for any. Seriously, the AFC. When I had Luke G on, he said that he didn't think there was a difference between the AFC and the NFC. I think there's a huge difference. Whoever gets out of the AFC, it's going to be tough because I really think that there's going to be maybe 2, possibly 3 teams that don't make the playoffs in the AFC. You could say are really, really, really good teams. Oh, God, I forgot about Benny Blades. Oh, God, I loved Benny Blades. Oh, God, what a great player. Loved Benny Blades. I forgot about Benny Blades. Oh yeah, I love Benny Blades. Benny Blades, one of the from Miami. Loved them at Miami. Loved them in Detroit. Really great, underrated safety. Really underrated safety. Let me ask you this though, like who legitimately should be the starting quarterback in San Francisco? I mean, you made all those draft picks for Lance, and if you don't start him, you kind of got to get rid of him. I mean, you have Darnold, who's an excellent backup quarterback. He started a lot, so I mean that's an interesting thing. So Gannon, pew, pew. The answer is a lot of Lions fans and people in the media that hate the hooker pickup. One guy said the show. One guy that hosts a show says they should take a Moody over him. He's an OT from Michigan. So I don't get why people hate the hooker. That might have been the best pick in the draft. It might have been the best pick in the draft, and he goes to the perfect situation because his skill set's a lot different than Goff's. And the thing is, if he gets healthy, you can use him in like some wildcat stuff. I'm kind of curious how you're going to bring him along. Like, are you going to elevate him to second string and use him early, or if you're just going to have him sit on the bench and not even look at a field? It's going to be a very interesting situation with Hendon Hooker, but I mean his ceiling's off the roof. I mean it's amazing, and just listening to the guy talk, the way NFL teams were just drooling over him. Now, it could be that they were just saying, oh, yeah, he did great in interviews and he just sucked. But I sincerely doubt that. I sincerely doubt that. So Moody over him, that makes no sense. It seriously makes no sense. So if you don't mind, Funk, can you send me that? I'd love to hear the logic behind that. Maybe he's seeing something that I don't. So Benny the Jet Rodriguez. I forgot about it. I'm trying to think here. Benny the Jet Rodriguez. I'm going to blank on that. Oh God. I mean, I think seriously, if I was Hooker, like that's the place I want to go to Like if I had to choose, give me a team, I would say Detroit because you don't need to do anything. I'm looking at Goff saying I can get your job in 2024. And here's the thing, he could take over that team with the weapons that they could potentially have and just elevate that franchise. It could be seriously that could be like 10 years from now we could talk about this being like one of the greatest draft picks in the NFL history. I think I'm just oh god, I loved Benny Blades. And that dude, like, so he was like 220, 225. Like, seriously, in today's game, he might have even played linebacker. He was like 6'1". I remember him at the U. Oh God. I remember him at the U. Such a good player. It's really a shame. It's really a shame people don't realize it. Great player. I love Benny Blades. The only thing I didn't get about the Hooker pick is not moving up at the end of the first, not about surplus draft value. I think you think the quarterback is your guy, get the dang year. Well, here's the thing. I don't think this is my opinion, and somebody tell me if I'm wrong. I mean, we'll never really know, but this is just my opinion. I think the Lions got the 4 players that they wanted in the draft. And you know, they wanted Gibbs, and I didn't like that pick, but when they moved Swift, I liked it. It was a reach, but I still liked it. Campbell, I think, was a reach. I know me and you both like him, but at 18 it was a reach. But I mean, this is a day one starter, and then you got a guy who adds some speed and dynamics to the offense. We both like Laporta. He's going to be I hate comparing him to Travis Kelce, but they're going to use him like Travis Kelce's used in Kansas City. And then Brian Branch is just, I think, an excellent value pick. But I think after you get those 4 guys, I think you're just looking at that best player available in the 3rd round. And Hendon Hooker, a lot of teams, I think, had a first-round grade. I don't think that they had any intention on taking Hendon Hooker. I just think that he was just free-falling, and they're like, hey, we'll take him. So, even more so than the Titans trading up to 33 to take Levis, made a trade day earlier and move up again to 31. Well, I get what you're saying. I'll be honest with you. If I'm Tennessee, I don't know why I would have taken Hooker, the Tennessee kid, over Levis. The only reason you make that move is because I think Levis is more day one ready, and I think that making this move, I think what you're trying to do if you're Tennessee is saying best quarterback's going to start. And I think you draft Levis and you trade up for him because you think he can play this year. I think you think he can play this year. And I think it also says that you're really disappointed in Willis. And I think that when they benched him and brought in the former Tennessee quarterback, he was in Pittsburgh. I forgot the kid's name. You brought him in off the street, and like 10 days later, he's starting over Willis. I think that says volumes of like, hey, look, we drafted the guy and this is a dud. And I love it. The movie The Sandlot. I feel like something just went way over my head. Hooker screwed depends. Here's what I'm hearing. Denver Gator is that he's already throwing, moving around, and everything looks good. Like he'll be able to participate in training camp. That's what I'm hearing. So I love Hooker. Before the draft, people always say he's too old and ran a gimmicky offense. Guess that means Kurt Warner's too old at 28. His last the gimmicky offense meant nothing to me. I mean, it just, all it says is that he's not day one ready, but that's why I kind of love Detroit. He's going to be under no pressure to play right away. Or Levis, I think there might be some pressure to play right away, especially if Tennessee starts out slow. So, Benny, oh God, yeah. Oh God, Benny Blades in today's game would be so much fun. Oh God, I just want to just kind of dive into like hurricane safeties that I liked. You know, Ed Reed, Benny Blades, the former Washington safety, one of the best players I've ever seen in college. He should have. God, I can't believe I can't think of his name. Should have won the Heisman as a safety. Brian Branch, Jack Campbell. I think so. I want to say something about Jack Campbell. I love Jack Campbell. I think he's going to be solid. I don't think he's going to be spectacular. I'm really curious. I'm dying to know how you're going to use Brian Branch. 100%. 100%. Yeah. Laporta is going to be basically a tight end in name only. Tight end in name only. Seattle took Witherspoon. That changed. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. The first 4 picks, it was kind of what I thought. But when Seattle took Witherspoon, that really threw me for a loop. Now, somebody told me they had Witherspoon as the best defensive player in the draft, and I didn't see that at all. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I think the more and more I watched film, the more and more I liked Gonzalez. I had going into the draft Porter as my number 1 corner, and then I had Porter, and then Gonzalez, and then Witherspoon. And then the more I watched Gonzalez, the more I realized that the lack of fire that I thought I saw was really just him making the game look easy. And then for him to go to New England is just phenomenal. I'm kind of curious how they're going to use Witherspoon, because I think they're going to use him in the slot a lot. And that, I mean, yeah, it's going to be. I'm really curious how they're going to use them. Are they going to use them inside, outside? It's going to be interesting. Boy, you're high on this year's Lions class. Yeah, I am. I really am. B+. And the only reason it's not an A is because you reached for players that you liked. And I don't have an issue with that either. The guy that you chose at the bottom of the 3rd round, now, that's a Dorsey special. If you didn't have John Dorsey with your franchise, I might be a little skeptical. And by the way, if you guys aren't aware, what they did is that late in the 3rd round, they took a guy, wasn't even invited to the combine, a small school guy, but he's an earth mover. He's like 6'5", 340. But he can move, but he's raw. And what it is that in a 3-4 defense that's really bad against the run, one of the hardest things to do is that 0 tech. And they really needed to add some size on that defensive line. And this is not a guy who's going to be a 3-down player, but it's something that you really need. And after all the maneuvering that they did, even though he wasn't invited to the combine, I really like that pick. And I call it a John Dorsey special, because you get a guy from a small school, and you can argue it's a reach, but it fits. So I really like that pick, even though you could tell me that it's not a good move. I might have to try that. I do 25 crunches, and I need to do more. I'm starting to get it. Sean Taylor. Yeah, I can't believe I forgot Sean Taylor's name. The Lions said they take the best player on the board. That includes the room. Yeah. Laporta sheds tackles like Huskies shed fur. Now, I have to admit, I loved Mike Meyer. He was my number 1 tight end, but the way that Detroit doesn't want a old school Y tight end, or say would have kept Hawkinson, this made sense. So, okay. Yeah. Sean Taylor. Oh yeah. Oh God. Sean Taylor, as a Miami Hurricane, should have won the Heisman Trophy. I will argue that from now to the end of time. Should have won the Heisman Trophy. So sad, yeah. Is turning the sixth pick into the best run after catch running back and the best run after catch tight end really a reach? I'd argue Kincaid's the best run after catch tight end, but you can go Laporta. I'm not mad at you there. 12 is way too high still. That's why you got B+ and not an A. I do 30. I do make me sound like a pussy. I do 10 push-ups every morning. Just I wake up, I set my coffee, I knock 10 out. But Dan, are there fans who hated Hawk and still say we should have drafted Meyer? That made no sense. Here's the deal: if you didn't trade Hawk, and God, this makes sense in my head. If you wanted a wide tight end and you lost Hawk and you drafted Meyer, then yeah, that makes all the sense in the world. But because you got rid of him because you don't want that old school wide tight end, and remember this was a Patricia pick, Meyer kind of fits. Hawkinson kind of fits, and I hate to compare the two, but like a Gronkowski type tight end, a blocker, receiver, guy that can do it all. That's why I see in Meyer, and that's why I like Meyer with the Raiders, because this is a guy who's going to block, he's going to help the run game. The Raiders want to be a run heavy team. And it's kind of weird. Normally, when you're a run heavy team, you want the ability to strike downfield. But what they're going to do is they want an offense that's complex, that can attack the middle of the field, and they want to run ball. That's what Jimmy G is going to do. And they're going to have a very complicated but run heavy offense. And Meyer's really going to help, but he's also going to be a guy who I seriously, in a couple of years from now, he may be the best tight end in football. So that's something that John Dorsey was so good at when he took over in Kansas City. He just changed the roster like overnight. And he didn't do that in Detroit, but he did a good job. I mean, only 6 guys. Yeah. There was 0 reaching in our draft. Sorry, we didn't reach. What we did was go against the norm, period. I disagree completely. You did reach. Now, did you go against norm? Yeah, but you did reach, because you got a guy that you could have got. You could have got Gibbs at 18. You probably could have got him at 34. So I'd have to draw up. I don't remember exactly where you picked Branch and where you picked Laporta. I'm going to say 34. So like you could have got him at 34, and you probably could have got Laporta at 45. Now Branch falling to 45 was a shocking development. Hooker going into third's another thing. But yeah, you did reach. You absolutely reach. When you take a player about 20 spots too soon, that's definition of reach. So going against conventional wisdom and analytical wisdom is definitely going against the norm. See, I think here's the thing, man. You did reach, but you went against the norm, and you also, here's the deal. If this pans out, you're going to be looked at as a genius. But if it doesn't, then you're going to have people like me who's going to go back and say you reached. But here's the thing. You could have got these players later in the draft. But I've said this over and over again. If you told me before the draft started the Lions were going to get Hendon Hooker, Jahmyr Gibbs, Brian Branch, Sam Laporta, and Jack Campbell, I would have told you were high. And it's a great draft. Those 5 guys, great draft. Your late round picks are also 3 guys that are going to probably make the team and have an impact. So. And I disagree. But yeah, I get what he's saying. No, that wasn't a definite deal, Dan. So no, I get it. But here's the deal: you like when you get a guy that you could have gotten later in the draft, it's a reach. So. For the offensive line, Walker and Acura, I do my crushing. That's a great idea. It's a great morning routine. So back to the schedule. I love the fact that you got 3 really, really, really good Thanksgiving games that are divisional games. I mean, this is just fantastic. You got Packers, Lions. Hopefully there's some playoff implications here. Washington, Dallas. It could be you have to wait and see. And then San Francisco at Seattle. I just love this. I mean, I absolutely love this. I just think this is just fantastic. And then the Black Friday game my time is Central Time, so 3 Eastern, 2 Central. Great time. If you are one of those people that if you're one of those people that does Black Friday shopping, great. I'm against it. I'm completely against it. I think waking up an hour early Waking up at like 4 a.m. to get mine at 5 is insane. I will never do that, but if you do it, more power to you. So yeah. But I think having a game on Black Friday is just genius. There's a lot of companies that treat it as a holiday. So I think it's just a brilliant move, and it's going to be a great game, and you get the Jets. Just brilliant. No, you can't. Yeah, you're right. You're right. There's no guarantee, but when you go after a guy, let me ask you this here. Let me ask you this. If you wanted a running back, why not take the John Robinson at 6, right? And then you could have still got the rest of those guys. And if the John Robinson plays much better, then you're gonna have to say you could have got the John Robinson. Now I understand you traded down, you got some draft picks. I get that. But I mean, bottom line, when you take a player that almost universally everybody had as a late first, early second pick, and you take them at 12, that's the definition of reach. And that was just across the board. Most mock drafts didn't even have Gibbs going in the first round, so you get him at 12. Now, keep in mind, he pans out and, he has 2,000 total yards and, a dozen touchdowns, and he goes to a Pro Bowl. Who cares? But, the whole point about draft grades and mock drafts, it's all speculation. I mean, we really don't know anything about a draft until like 5 to 10 years down the line. But bottom line, when you go, I mean, I don't know if you saw my mock drafts or not. I did, I think 7 or 8. But when you get a guy, when you take a guy that, like, I seriously went through thousands of mock drafts, thousands. So when I say that you take a guy about 20 spots too soon, I'm just going over thousands of mock drafts and all the mock drafts and all the research I did, and I put a lot of time into it. So that's kind of the way I see it. So hopefully, Jason, man, hopefully I answered your question. And bottom line, you have no idea. You have no idea. There's lots of drafts that look good at the time, and then 5-10 years later, it's a terrible draft. Like the Dolphins at the time, everybody thought getting Tua was genius. You remember Tank for Tua? And then they get him at 5 after they won a few games. Remember, they beat New England the last game of the season. People thought that would destroy their chances of getting Tua. Texans fans are mad because they could have had the number 1 pick, but when instead of Bryce Young, when CJ Stroud ends up being better. So I mean, we don't know. Imagine with all the hindsight we have now when Will Levis went, somebody traded up to draft him number 1. Yeah. I'm just, yeah. I mean, keep in mind, I literally, like, I love draft season. I go through literally like thousands of mock drafts. Plus I did this year, I think 7 or 8. I don't know the exact number. I changed it up because in the past, what I've done is I did a mock draft for every single team, and this year I just released a new mock draft every week after the combine, and I had a lot of fun doing that. So I'll probably do it again next year. There's no guarantee that they're with the yeah, exactly. I thought the Niners had a bad draft. I have all my draft. I have the Niners with a C plus. And I'm not going to go through the Niners draft, but keep in mind they gave up all that draft capital for Trey Lance, and Trey Lance may not even be available. So some GMs are just better on getting a feel where the players will follow their team's needs are and who they like. Exactly. Exactly. Because Gibbs was the better fit. I've been saying that since day one. Big Bad Brad even said that's why he didn't take with John. We'll have to find out. I mean, we're going to find out because, I mean, it's funny because a lot of people blasted the Colts for taking Edgerrin James over Ricky Williams, and it worked out. But we'll wait and see. For me, no. Because I think there's a huge difference. I think the John Robinson is a much better player than Jahmyr Gibbs. But we're gonna wait. We'll have to wait and see. Gibbs and Bijan are completely different. Yes, Bijan would be an upgrade version of Monty, but Gibbs is a scat back and Swift couldn't stay healthy. That's why they went with Gibbs. What do you think of the Mai Tai just eating those punches? Dude's name is Rose. It is really cool, man. By the way, all my social media links are below. Follow me on social media. Send me some cool shit like One Pride does. Okay, back to the schedule. Saints at Falcons, one of the most underrated rivalries in football. I love this rivalry. Great game. Steelers at Bengals. This is like we're now week 12. We're getting into some like really great division games. Playoff implications here probably. Jags at Texans. Chiefs, Raiders. Hopefully the Raiders are winless at this time. Bills and Eagles. What a great game that is. Primetime Chargers or Ravens at Chargers. This could be a lot of fun. I'm going to be honest with you. Probably not playoff implications. I'm not seeing the Bears being a really good team, but we'll have to wait and see. This could be a very interesting game. But man, the Thanksgiving or the Black Friday game normally. Excuse me. It's really weird. I don't have a sore throat, but like something right here is like I woke up a couple days ago and it like right here just hurts like hell. Like it's really strange. Absolutely, Jason. One of the things I really encourage here is that this is not an echo chamber. I don't ever want to. I do come across, and a lot of times if I say something and you don't agree with me, I kind of instantly assume you're wrong. But I never want this to be an echo chamber. I always want people to come in and don't get me wrong. I think, human nature is you want people to agree with you. You want people to, say, hey, Dan, you said this and I agree with you. That's a smart take. But I want to encourage people to come in and say, hey, you know what, Dan, you're wrong, A, B, C, and D. For example, I just forgot his name. DJ Moore. Okay, DJ Moore, the Carolina wide receiver just traded to Chicago. I said in a video a couple of years ago, I never heard from this guy. He wasn't a regular, but I said DJ Moore is more of a number 2, not a number 1. He's like, and they presented all of his points. And I'm like, you're right. He is a number 1 receiver. And so by the way, just so you know, so I said Stafford would go for a couple first rounds, and One Pride 40 said third round max. So I was right. And he was. I'm laughing. In case you're not aware, Jason, it's just the opposite. I said for months that when Stafford demanded a trade because he went public, this was going to be a disaster, and most of the Lions were going to get would be a third, and One Pride was adamant, probably going to be 2 first rounds, and he was right and I was wrong. And by the way, I have no problem admitting I'm wrong. But Jason, man, I want to encourage people to put in things and disagree with me, because there's a small possibility you may be right and I could be wrong. No, there's definitely a chance I could be wrong. This year, Funk was adamant. Lions at Giants. He was like, Lions are going to win this game, and I was like, dude, you're off. Bet on it. I was like, bet on it. No way. What happened? The Lions went in there and won, and I had to eat it. So. Yeah. And Funk said the all-time greatest thing ever. He said, isn't it great how 2 grown men can disagree on something without one calling the other one a name? And that's something Funk does an excellent job of. And hopefully I do an excellent job of it too. I wouldn't say I do an excellent job of it, but I encourage you to, look, you may point out something that I missed and that I'm wrong about. So I encourage it. I think that Claypool. I'm that Claypool has a lot of potential. But the fact that Pittsburgh traded Claypool and ended up getting Joey Porter Jr., it's about. Yeah. I think you're right more than that, but yeah. I told you put your money like I was going to put the Barkley under, but no. All right. So, really. I guess a great job on Thanksgiving and then Black Friday by the NFL. I said the Lions are undrafted. No, they didn't. God, who did Kansas go to, by the way? Tampa Bay. Let's see how that works. I saw all my draft notes are right here next to me. So if you want to talk draft, I got all my draft grades. I have notes from all the trades. I do. Seriously, I'll even show you, man. So what I do for the draft, I have my draft grades here, but I mean, what I do is that I have 2 legal pads. You can kind of see like all the notes. I have literally tons and tons and tons of notes, and then my final draft grades here I just ripped out. But oh God, I do so much work for the draft. So much work for the draft. I loved it too. It was a lot of fun. Keys was nice enough. He came on. Bufa came on live. He joined me for the whole draft. Luke G came in late. It was amazing. So next year, I think I'm going to do the same thing. Tampa Bay's teammate, the linebacker, I want to see develop. You know what? Didn't they also draft University of Pittsburgh safety in the 7th round? Or did I get that confused with another team? I think they drafted 3 Pitt guys. Be very interesting. That safety, I think, makes the team. I actually really liked him. Hopefully I got that right. I gave Tampa Bay a B- though. And the main reason is that I didn't get the not getting a quarterback, but those defensive players pan out. Yeah, this could be a really good game. Seattle at Dallas. This could be a possible playoff positioning. Chargers at Patriots, another game. Detroit at the Saints, another game. Could be playoff positioning. Some division game. Carolina at Tampa Bay. Colts and Titans, some really, really good games here. Sunday night, Kansas City at Green Bay. Lambeau Field's going to be a lot of fun. Maybe I'm not really sold on Green Bay. We'll have to wait and see. And then this is a very underrated game. Cincinnati at Jacksonville. Believe it or not, Jacksonville could have the division wrapped up, and you could be fighting for home field. Cincinnati at the end of the season has some really, really tough games, including Kansas City, New Year's Eve. I'll get into that here. Week 14, another really great. I think this could be 2 teams fighting for playoff positioning, maybe for the division. If nothing else, for wild card, I really see it here. Same thing. I just realized I put last year's it just changed where you have last year's win-loss record. So I didn't realize that. Anyway. Dan, you're a Chiefs fan. Watch out for those Broncos. It's kind of funny, like when Sean Payton took over. I'm a level with you. I don't think the Sean Payton, Russell Wilson thing's going to work. I really don't. But I love how they fixed the right side of the offensive line. They overspent, but they fixed it. They brought in, I can't believe I forgot his name. I really can't believe I forgot his name. Former head coach of Broncos, the defensive coordinator. I can't believe I forgot his name. Great job. So, I don't think that's going to work, but then everything that they did has worked perfectly. But I think the Sean Payton, Russell Wilson thing's not going to work. Of course, the Chargers every year. I'm curious what's going to happen with the Raiders, but I think this year is still the Chiefs division. I think 2024, watch out for the other 3 teams, but I think this year the Chiefs win the West. I'm not really too concerned about that, but I'd be really concerned about what's going to happen in the rest of the AFC. So Vance Joseph, yeah, really good coach. Great hire. I was kind of snickering when they brought in Oh my God, I can't believe I'm forgetting names left and right here. And when they brought in Sean Payton, I'm really bad when it comes to names. So anyway, when they brought in Sean Payton, I kind of snickered because I don't think that's going to work. And then every move after that has just been A plus, A plus, A plus, A plus. I gave Denver a C plus draft because they didn't have a first, second round pick, but Riley Reed, I'm gonna stick with it. I'm calling them Riley Reed and Drew Sanders are great picks. So I think this year we could have a really good defense. I mean, you got to realize, look how many young players we had that contributed. I mean, Trent McDuffie, I mean, by all accounts, could be like an all-pro corner. Joshua Williams is a guy I had a major man crush on. Jalen Watson, 7th round pick, and then Byron Cook's a guy started making a lot of plays, kind of an underrated guy in the 2nd round. But I think our defense could surprise people and be really good. Here's the thing with Sean Payton's offense. Drew Brees is a top 10 all-time quarterback. And I think he's the most accurate quarterback in the history of the NFL. Russell Wilson's a great quarterback, but accuracy has never been his thing. Russell Wilson's not the guy you want to go back to throw 50, 60 times a game and go ding, 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 ding. And that's what Drew Brees and Sean Payton did, and it worked, and they threw the ball a lot. And Drew Brees, a lot of times, was throwing like 75% completion, and that's not Russell Wilson's game. What Russell Wilson's game is play action passing, going deep, and that's not what Sean Payton did at all. So how can Sean Payton reinvent himself? The best thing I really thought that they should do, and they should have done this last year, is just have a run-heavy offense. And apparently what it looked like was that Russell Wilson was just ad-libbing because he didn't respect the coach. Is he going to respect Sean Payton enough? Here's the thing. They played Kansas City week 6 and 8, and I think that's great for Kansas City. I don't want to play Denver late in the year. I want to play them early. We play them 6 and 8, and I think it's a big advantage. Like I think the Chiefs sweep Denver again, but in 2024, it scares me. I can see Russell get benched this year if it is from the same guy from last year. Who is the backup quarterback? And don't be surprised if Russell does get benched. So don't see McDaniels lasting in Vegas. Here's the deal. They took some swings in the draft, and if it doesn't work out with Jimmy G and you don't have I think you have to have a 9-game. I think you have to win 9 games, but they are cash poor. So the way the contract works out is that you have to figure a way out. It could be part of the reason they brought Brady in is to bring an influx of cash because they do want to fire him. And here's the thing. I think Vegas it could be a premier place. Like if you're a coach and you want to have like total control or a lot of control, I think it's a place that's very enticing for a guy to go to. And the guy that not this year but maybe next year could be the head coach would be another name freeze. I can't believe I'm forgetting this. Like I'm like saying the guy's name mid-sentence, and as soon as I start talking, I forget the guy's name. I'm really embarrassed. It's like I've had like 5 consecutive name freezes. The head coach at USC. He was at Oklahoma. Now he's at USC. I could see him taking the jump from USC, even though the contract's like for several years. I could see the Raiders just saying, we'll move heaven and earth. We'll bring in Caleb Williams. You can come. You just I could see something like that. I can't think of the guy's name. I was just and then yeah, okay. So I don't disagree. Dan said the rest of AC West in 2024. I'm saying that's yeah. Oh, okay. I got you. I think Peyton's going to be leaning into the play action pass game and the run game. We'll see. That's kind of what I think you have to do. I think playing it. Yeah. So yeah, this is exactly what they need to do. And this is Russell Wilson's strength, but it's not what Sean Payton did. So yeah. That man has a plan in place, Dan. I'll be honest. Listen, Lincoln Riley. Yes. I don't think so. And what it is that the Walton Penner Group is like worth 80 billion. And I really think that he just is getting offered something crazy. And I have no idea what he's making, but I really think that he's just like looking at this and going, you know what? I'll take the 20 million or whatever it is. I mean, he's making over 10 million a year. And I think that, yeah, I'm bad with names, man, but Lincoln Riley was the one. But I really think that when I saw this, I thought it was a cash grab. I think the biggest problem for the AFC West is that I don't think you're making the playoffs if you don't win the division, given out the AFC East and AFC North on paper right now. I do. I see that, but here's the thing. I think the AFC East and I think the AFC North really beats itself up. I think that you're going to have 4 teams within like 1 or 2 teams. One or 2 games of each other. I think you could see the winner of that division having 11 wins and the team that finishes dead last at 9. And the same thing maybe with the AFC East. I think that I have a feeling the Jets may not work out as planned. I don't know about Miami. Buffalo's a team I think that's starting to slide. And I'm kind of curious what New England has, but I could see all these teams beating each other up, and then you have the Chargers, Broncos, or Raiders at 10 wins, and they get that last spot. So, yeah, I think I could see that. I think Sean's looking at Gruden's contract and looking at the Broncos as bank. Yeah. I think Sean Payton is. I seriously, that Walton Penner Group, Denver Gator was telling me is worth something like 80 million or 80 billion. It's just crazy. So I think that he's getting at least 10 million a year. I mean, he probably just said, you know what? I'm just going to wing it. And if I get fired, who cares? I'm going to take my 25 million and enjoy retirement. By the way, yeah, I'm having a lot of brain freezes. I don't know. I do think there'll be a handful of teams in the AFC that don't make the playoffs that are way better. Oh, absolutely. I agree with that. I mean, seriously, teams 8, 9, and 10 out of the AFC are probably going to be better than teams 6 and 7 in the NFC. That's the way I think so, too. All right, back to the schedule. Lions, Bears could be interesting. Rams at Ravens is going to be interesting. Jaguars and Browns potentially. Bills at Kansas City. Bills at Kansas City. I haven't gone that far yet. This is awesome, though. Bills at Kansas City. Great game here. Sunday night, Eagles at Cowboys could be for the NFC East here. And then 2 Monday night games, 2 really interesting games, possible playoff implications. Titans at Miami, Green Bay at New York. So really good job. Both of them at the same time. Going to be fun. Going to be fun. Bills at Kansas City. How mad are Bills fans having to come to Arrowhead all the time? How mad are Bills fans having to come to Arrowhead all the time? And, it's like, ha. If I was a Bills fan, I'd be pissed. By the way, this is just going to be a fun game, even if there are no playoff implications. This could be potentially, let's just say there's no. Okay. By the way, if you see anything like this, for those of you who have a wrench, that last comment, I just blocked them. But if you see anybody posting some shit like that, we don't do that stuff here. I don't know who saw the comment. No, a hard pass. I blocked them. For those of you who got a wrench, block that bullshit. I'm sorry. All right, I'm done. Even that Eagles game. Was it this week or last week? I got a little distracted here, so I'm sorry that comment kind of distracted me. So Chargers at Raiders. Here's the thing: like, even if there's not playoffs involved, there could be a firing. This game, seriously, the loser of this game could be a firing for the head coach. So This is going to be a fun game. Chargers Raiders is always a fun game. Always a fun game, even if both these teams have losing records. This could be a situation the loser of this game could get fired as head coach. This is going to be a lot of fun. Jets and Dolphins, second time in 3 weeks, could be playoff implications, could be a lot of fun here. Monday night, Chiefs at Patriots. I mean, hopefully there's playoff implications here. Going to be a tough game for Kansas City. And then 5 games to be determined. Broncos at Lions. This could be a potentially really fun game. Steelers at Colts. We'll have to wait and see. Bears at Browns. This could be a lot of fun. Minnesota at Cincinnati. A lot of fun. No. I'm not even going to repeat it. It was some racist shit. Stuff I will not tolerate. It was some racist shit that I will not tolerate. The one thing I'm ignorant on is when the NFL schedule and template is how the home away is decided. There's a lot that goes into it. I actually don't know all the specifics, but it's kind of funny because if you notice, the Chiefs have been traveling to New England a lot, and then but the Bills have come to Arrowhead, I think, the last 3 years, and then the Bengals come to Arrowhead as well. Yeah, it was really weird. It was like some racist troll, but I've had a few of them over the time. And if anybody's got a wrench, you see some racist shit, just block them. So I'm kind of rattled by that a little bit. Hopefully, I'm over it. But yeah, I mean, it's the comment I wanted to highlight. It's kind of weird how certain teams come to certain teams that play each other over and over again. It's not home away, home away, home away. I have no idea. I've never seen anything like that. I've never seen anything like. I've got some sex spots several times, which is kind of comical, but I block them immediately. I've never seen any racist troll like that comment before ever. It was really fucked up. Not mind saying it. Yeah, I get the sex bots. I mean, that makes sense. But I mean, this was something really weird, and I hopefully will never see it again. But I don't know, man. It's really weird. Thursday night, this could be a potential fun game. I'm kind of wondering how if the Rams can come back or not. The Saints are a team I've been telling people to watch out for in the NFC. They're my favorite to win the NFC South, so this could be for playoff positioning. This could potentially be a great game. Couple really good games on Saturday. Bengals at Steelers, playoff positioning. Steelers are always going to be tough at the end of the year. And Bills at Chargers, a lot of fun here. Hopefully for Chargers fans, this is going to be a game that has playoff implications for you. I think it will for the Bills. Tough road for the Bills. You got the Chiefs, and then you have to go back out to LA. They play twice in 3 weeks here. Lions at Vikings, probably for the NFC North. At least that's my opinion. Kind of interesting. Cowboys at Dolphins could be a potential AFC NFC matchup for playoff positioning. Really fun game. Sunday night, Patriots at Broncos, potentially a really, really, really good game. Triple hitter Monday for Christmas. What a great way to start off Christmas. Raiders and Chiefs at noon. By the way, I will be live on YouTube Christmas Day giving you play-by-play for Raiders and Chiefs. So hopefully, that Bills Chargers game is going to be a lot of fun. A lot of fun on the 23rd. That could be a lot of fun. But I will be live Christmas Day. I will be live Christmas Day doing play-by-play for Raiders and Chiefs, and then Giants at Eagles. And then this is a real fun. This could be a lot of fun. Ravens at 49ers. Perry, welcome, brother. Do you think the Rams did enough to challenge for the NFC West? Last year, I think a lot of it was due to injuries and Andrew Whitworth leaving, and they had no idea what to do at left tackle. I think they addressed left tackle. Of course, they lose Bobby Wagner, who played phenomenally last year for them, and what would they win 4 games? So I mean, I personally do. I think the Rams are a team everybody's sleeping on. But you get healthy, you fix the left tackle. They lost a lot of things in free agency, but look, you still have Sean McVay, you still have Stafford, Cooper Kupp comes back, you still have Aaron Donald. It's going to be interesting because this is a team that does not have a lot of depth. They did lose a lot, but did they did enough? I think so. I think the NFC West, I'm not sold on San Francisco. I'm kind of curious if Seattle's for real or not. Arizona, I think, is going to be a dumpster fire. It wouldn't surprise me if the Rams end up winning that division, but I don't, unless the 49ers, and unless one of those guys at the quarterback room really jump up. Excuse me. The Rams are a team, if they stay healthy, absolutely. It'll be, the Rams are going to be a very interesting team because a lot of people are looking at them as a Super Bowl team. Then they win 5 games, so nobody's looking at them now. But I think the Rams are a team that people are going to sleep on, and I think that once the season starts, they start winning some games. I think you may have to go watch out. I mean, you still got Hall of Fame quarterback. McVay's building up a Hall of Fame resume. Aaron Donald, we could talk about being one of the best defensive linemen in NFL history. Cooper Kupp will come back, should come back at 100%. So yeah, I mean, so many factors involved, but the answer is yeah. The Pats Broncos will get flexed out. Well, it's a primetime game. It's Sunday night, so it's Christmas Eve, and I think it's going to be a fun game. Ravens Niners could be really good. This could be really, really good. Do you think the NFC West will be close to this year's? I do think it's going to be close because I'm not sold on Seattle. You have quarterback questions in San Francisco. The Rams stay healthy, they can compete. I think Arizona's a dumpster fire. Arizona's my pick to have the number 1 pick in the draft next year. So and really, here's the deal. Here's the problem with the Rams: one or two injuries, and they're looking at a 4 or 5 win team again. If they stay healthy, they have no depth on that team, and that's why they made all these cap cutting moves, and they did have a good draft addressing a lot of depth. They had some picks in the 5th, 6th, 7th round. They're going to make the team and have an impact. So. Okay. I didn't get it. Pats and Broncos could be contender. You never know. New England's a team I've been telling people don't sleep on. They made some nice moves. Juju Smith-Schuster, Gesicki, a really, really good draft. 2 of my favorite defensive players. You got Christian Gonzalez, Keon White. I said this in many times. Keon White, 10 years from now, maybe one of the 3 best players in the draft. A dude who's 290, like runs a 4.6. Reminds me a lot of J.J. Watt. Same backstory. Small school tight end, just grew, switched to defensive line, switched to a Power 5 school, and just started to dominate. And he goes to a perfect spot. But if Bill Belichick unlocks that potential, and Christian Gonzalez, it would not surprise me if Christian Gonzalez is just like a hair less than Sauce Gardner as a rookie. I really think that Christian Gonzalez could come into that Patriots DB room and be like a Pro Bowl player right away. I really believe that. And then also I like that Bill O'Brien's coming back. It's just a question of how fast is that offense going to catch up. But I think New England, I've been telling people don't sleep on the Patriots because a lot of people are, and that's when the Belichick's dangerous. Denver, I really think it's going to take a year, maybe 2. Yeah. The Rams are almost done. They did a really good job in the draft, picking up some late round players that are really going to help this year. They got some really good players late in the draft that I really, really liked. I gave the Rams, let me see here what I give. I gave them a B because they got some late round picks that are going to contribute this year. They got some really good players late in the draft, but that's an interesting question. I mean, would you sacrifice winning a Super Bowl to have a couple of years of shit? I mean, I personally wouldn't. I loved Marty Ball, even though we didn't win a Super Bowl. It's nice to know that, hey, we're going to get an opportunity to go to the playoffs. I'd rather have 5 or 6 playoff years without a Super Bowl than a Super Bowl and 5 years of shit. But that Super Bowl is huge. I'm sad that the season's starting because I like saying I'm a Super Bowl champ. Well, now it's a new season, so. I see the NFC West being relatively the same as last season, with the exception of Rams probably having a winning record. Let me ask you this here, because so you think San Francisco wins by a couple games? Interesting question. So, do you think the Raiders will challenge KC this year? Do you think Denver will be in the mix? Denver, no. I really think that Denver is going to take at least 1 year. I really think that they're going to be mediocre this year. The Raiders really rolled the dice because Meyer, I said this many times coming up to the draft. I think Meyer could, in a couple of years from now, be the best tight end in football. I think he's that good, and I think he goes to the right spot. They're going to use him a lot. Like, he's going to enter as a day one tight end. He's going to block, which is going to help the running game. Remember, Josh Jacobs led the NFL in rushing. The Tyree Wilson injury scares me, but if he's over that injury and he can live up to his potential, and you got Max Crosby, and I can't remember the other guy. He got injured, former sack leader, former Arizona Cardinal, New England Patriots. Can't think of the guy's name. Beat New England on the craziest last play of the game last year. So he's a guy that borderline Hall of Fame player. I would say probably is. So you got him tutoring Tyree Wilson. If Tyree Wilson's as good as people think he is, and you get him starting with Max Crosby on the other side, and then you have another Hall of Fame defensive lineman, there's a possibility. Remember, Josh Jacobs led the NFL in rushing, so you add to the rushing game, plus you give you give Jimmy G a nice weapon. They're on third down. So, do I think they can challenge Kansas City? I don't really think so, but the Raiders could be a team that surprises a lot of people and wins maybe 10, 11 games and sneaks into the playoffs. But it's really a gamble. I think their draft was really a gamble. Yeah, I mean, I'm all about team building. The Rams just kind of sacrificed everything for one year, and I don't see it. I wouldn't do it. I'd rather have 5 years of good football than 1 year of good. But I mean, yeah, everybody's so different. I think, having a whole off season to create plays for CMC is one of their weapons. Well, okay, yeah. Harder to place Ryans as DC though when the 49ers aren't injured. My biggest when you go into the season with questions at quarterback, that really bothers me. And how hard is it? Because I remember when Robert Saleh left, I thought the defense was going to take a big step back, and it did not. And I'll be honest, I can't think of who. I have no idea who the Niners defensive coordinator is. I should, but I don't. No, I do know. It's Steve Wilks. Steve Wilks, really, really good hire. It's not going to dip. It's not going to dip much at all. He should have got a head coaching job. I would have given him a head coaching job instead of Jonathan Gannon. He should have got the job. He was the guy who took over in Carolina and almost led them to the playoffs. I thought that was phenomenal. How he got passed up was kind of a mistake. I think he's going to do a really good job and get a head coaching offer in 2024. He'll get some interviews. So yeah, yeah. Do you feel Sean Payton can help Russell Wilson return to form? Do you think? I don't think his teammates turn on him. I don't. I just don't know how what Sean Payton wants to do offensively is completely different than what he did with the Saints is not what Russell Wilson does well. And I'm kind of curious how you do that. So, hey, Jason, man, I'll see you next week, brother. Thank you so much for your contributions. Excuse me, and joining the show, man. It means the world to me, man. Thanks, brother. Yeah. So here's the deal. You guys are on the same page. And by the way, if Purdy wins the job, you have to get rid of Lance. But you get rid of him, there's not going to be a big value for him. And where does he go? But I think you have to get rid of him. So the Rams ring allowed my Lions to take 2 insanely fast offensive weapons, so they're still building a decent roster. Yeah, I will. I'm going to give them a ton of credit because they got some players in later rounds that are really, really going to help the job. He did. He should be an NFL head coach. He really should. I seriously. And by the way, you could have got Wilkes and not got the tampering charge Cardinals. So, by the way, it's just another reminder. Christmas Day. When you're unwrapping presents, tune into Chiefs Raiders and make sure you get on YouTube. And of course, I'll remind you. Thursday night, Jets at Browns could potentially be a playoff game. Saturday, this is going to be, I hope will be, yeah, man. I love having you here, man. And by the way, again, please disagree with me. Yeah, I like it when smart, intelligent fans have stuff to say that's different than what I say. I love it. So this is not an echo chamber. I want this to be a community where people come together and throw different ideas out. So I definitely love your input. Love having you here, man. I can't thank you enough. So sorry you gotta go, but I'm glad you're here, man. Glad you're here, brother. Both these games could be a lot of fun. Jets at Browns. I'm hoping there's playoff implications here. Detroit going to Dallas on December 30th. It could be a lot of fun. 31st game, the New Year's Eve. Some real good ones. Dolphins at Baltimore. Patriots and Bills. Hopefully it's for a playoff spot here. How this game isn't a primetime game. Bengals at Chiefs. I don't know. Again, the NFL loves the Chiefs. Eagles, Bills, Bengals all come to Arrowhead. Big advantage for Kansas City. And in case you missed out on my video, the last 3 games of the Chiefs schedule are at Arrowhead, so big advantage for the Chiefs. This should be a primetime game, though. Bengals at Chiefs. This will be the star attraction game. And there's some really good games here, too. Chargers at Broncos. Saints and Bucks would be for a playoff game. And then Sunday night, Green Bay travels to Minnesota. Really good games for December 31st. So a great way to end the year is by some really good football games at noon. I mean, really good football games across the board. Thursday is going to be good. Saturday is going to be good. A lot of really good division games. And of course, Bengals travel to Arrowhead, must-see TV, in my opinion. Yeah, if Lance starts, I'm slightly lower on the Niners, slightly. I think Kyle could do some crazier things with Trey, though. I think Purdy gives you a higher offensive floor and stability. I agree completely. I'm just not sold on him. With Trey Lance, you have a much higher ceiling. But if Purdy gets the job and you're going to go that way, you got to get rid of Lance. And you gave up all that draft capital for him, so it just looks like a wasted pick. I'd be kind of curious. An NFL team that would want him, and just off the top of my head, the team I think would be really interested in him might be the New England Patriots. But we'll have to wait and see. But this is going to be the preseason battle I'm dying to see. I'm really curious how Andy plays the Bengal games that the Chiefs and Bengals are fighting for the number 1 seed. I know this is going to sound really cocky, but this is week 17, right? This is week 17. There's a possibility, believe it or not, that Kansas City may have their 1 seed wrapped up and they may want to just treat it like a preseason game. I could see that. Past regular season games have been the first half of the season. This game is so close to the playoffs. The NFL is almost forcing Andy not to hold back for a second matchup to get the 1 seed. There's a chance. I really do. I mean, it sounds overly cocky. I think there's a good chance the Chiefs may have the 1 seed wrapped up. But if this is for the 1 seed, it should be prime time, and it's not going to be. They already have this locked in. So in San Francisco, it really depends on the sunk cost fallacy. You see, here's the fun thing is that I've said this many times. Seattle doesn't care. You could be a rookie, undrafted free agent, or first round pick, best player plays. That's not true with all teams. And I wonder if in San Francisco, if they just force Trey Lance to be the guy just because you gave up 3 first round draft picks in order to get him, if you just force him in there. But if Brock Purdy's the guy, it's going to be interesting because here's the deal. If Trey Lance is starter, you can keep Brock Purdy, but if Brock Purdy's the starter, you got to get rid of Lance, and you're going to get rid of him probably for nothing. And who would trade for him? I just off the top of my head, I just threw out New England, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know. And you're not getting a lot for him either. I mean, that's just my opinion. Do you think Dak can lead the Cowboys to a real playoff push, or do you think the Cowboys are in trouble because of his deal? I think they can. I really think that they can. The defense is good. The Dallas defense is good. They brought in Stephon Gilmore. He's not the same guy he was it 4 or 5 years ago when he was defensive MVP, but he's going to be the number 2 corner. And you got Micah Parsons. They got a guy out of Ole Miss last year. They got him in the 2nd round. Pure pass rusher. Is he going to be a guy who can help out in the pass rush? Because if you're Dallas, what you're doing is you're just saying, hey, look, you have the same philosophy that Kansas City has, that you're just trying to hold teams at 24 because their offense is going to score over 30. And that's kind of what you're doing there. The offense is explosive. And here's the deal. Dallas has to be a team that scores 30 points a game, even though the defense is pretty good. That's kind of the philosophy Mike McCarthy has. And to be honest, they probably should have won more than one Super Bowl in Green Bay, but that's what they did. They won a Super Bowl there in Green Bay. They want to it looks like they're trying to do the same exact thing that they did in Green Bay. High-powered offense, a few studs on defense, but overall you want to have like 2 or 3 studs on defense, and an overall, just your focus, most of your roster or most of your salary cap on offense, a few studs on defense, and then you're just trying to be a mediocre defense, try to get some turnovers, some sacks, and then have a top 5 offense. And that's kind of what they're doing. Do I think they can? Yeah, I do. I think there's a good chance that Dallas can push Philly for winning the NFC East. They actually, did last year. I mean, they're 12-5. Philly was, of course, was 14-3. But yeah, I really do. Hard for a team to give up so much for Lance when team needs a quarterback. Will be drilling for Caleb Williams. Yeah, I mean, there are some good quarterbacks coming out next year, but I never bank on a quarterback in 2024 when I could draft one in 2023 or maybe get one for Trey Lance. And it's interesting because San Francisco gave up 3 first rounds. So San Francisco had a real high grade on Trey Lance, but who else had a high grade on Trey Lance? Is there a quarterback needy team that would really want Trey Lance? Take like Tampa Bay, because both their quarterbacks are on 1-year deals. I mean, Baker Mayfield after this year could be gone. Maybe a team like Tampa Bay would want to give up a lot for Trey Lance. What kind of a draft grade did they have on Trey Lance? Because some teams like San Francisco had a very high grade on Trey Lance. There were I was hearing rumors that there was other teams that had like a 3rd round grade on them. So, I mean, if it didn't pan out, what would you want to give up? So it's going to be an interesting preseason story, because if he doesn't win the job, you got to get rid of him. And, who's interested and what do you give up? It's going to be a lot of fun. A team doesn't give up on a player they've seen practice and play and really believe in. So if they give up on a player, hard time. Exactly. And I mean, what they're going to do, let's just for fun, let's just for fun say Brock Purdy wins a job. They're going to make it sound like Brock Purdy's the second coming of Tom Brady, just to build up the Trey Lance value, because you got to get rid of him. You either get rid of him, or you try to figure out creative ways to use Lance, like in 2-point conversions, sub packages, maybe keep him as a backup, but I just don't see it working out. I think you got to get rid of him now. You may have to wait till the off season, but I think it'd make things tough on the locker room. You could also get a situation where a team's quarterback gets hurt, and you know, hey, look, you know, we got this Trey Lance guy. You know, you want to give up a third, second, something like that. So, point of a rookie quarterback is to give a cheap window to go for it. By the time you develop Lance, you will have to pay him exactly, and that's another thing that they have to think about. And keep in mind, if Purdy ends up being the guy, he could turn around at the end of this year and say, you know what, you guys got to pay me. And if you get rid of Lance, then you're kind of stuck. So it'll be interesting. I think you have to make it a trade with multiple conditional picks. So it can be a first round pick. You could, but I mean, I don't know if you can even ask for a first round if you're getting rid of them. So it's going to be tough. Dan, the future on quarterbacks, a big Lance probably gets a pair of twos at best under this situation. That's kind of what I'm looking at, and I don't even know if you get that much. You may have to give up like a like I'm thinking like maybe almost a fourth or something. I mean, it's going to be weird. Keep in mind, there's a chance that he wins the starting job. So I mean, it's going to be a very interesting preseason story. So. Do you feel the days of a strong defense and a great running back are over for a high-powered offense and an okay defense? I don't think so, but I mean, I'm going to call it a Chiefs dynasty. I mean, that's what the Chiefs did, but the answer is no. I don't think it's over, but I mean, right now, what the Chiefs are doing is you know, I mean, it's successful, but you have to understand something, and I'm hesitant to say this because I am a Chiefs fan, and too many people in Chiefs Kingdom are just going overboard. But you have to understand what Patrick Mahomes has done the first couple of years of his career has never been done before. I mean, what you're seeing is something that has never been accomplished. You've seen the rings and you've seen the stats, but you've never seen the rings and stats together. Marino put up like phenomenal numbers, but he never won a ring. You know, Brady won rings, Montana won rings. I mean, Bradshaw won rings, I think, but he was in Pittsburgh, I want to say 5 years before he won a ring. You know, you get quarterbacks that won, okay? And you got quarterbacks that put up stats. I mean, Manning won 2 rings, but he won them late in his career. When Brady was winning Super Bowls early in his career, he wasn't putting up the numbers. Patrick Mahomes putting up, you know, 5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns and 5,000 yards and 41 touchdowns. It's never been done before with Super Bowl wins. And so like what the Chiefs are doing is kind of like unprecedented. I mean, there's only been 3 teams in NFL history have hosted 5 consecutive conference championship games. And it was done in New England. I think it's 2011 to 2018. So it's just done recently with New England. You have to go back to the Raiders in the 70s when they had Madden and the Snake. So I mean, you have to realize what the Kansas City Chiefs are doing is extremely rare and extremely unique. And what you're seeing in Patrick Mahomes is really never been done before. I mean, what you're seeing in Patrick Mahomes is really special and it's really rare. So I mean, you know, do I feel like the days of a strong defense and great run? No, I don't think they're over, but the Chiefs are the team to beat in the NFL right now. And what they're doing is, you know, the high powered offense and a quarterback who's doing things nobody's ever done before. So see, that's the thing is that's kind of what I see with Lance. I think if you get rid of him, I think if you're a team, I think you just throw out, hey, give us a 5th. We'll give you a 5th and we'll take Lance off your hands. That's kind of what I think. So I feel Belichick showed Brady how to win, and that's why he won in Tampa. I think so too. I think a lot of people see Belichick as kind of struggling without Brady, as not being as responsible as Brady, but that's not really the case. And that's also why I've been telling people, like, watch out for New England. Like, watch out for the Patriots. Like, they're a team I think that could be really dangerous. Best running games I can think of lately are the Niners, Titans, Ravens, and Eagles. All good defenses too. How many rings have they had in the last 10 years? You're right. I mean, you are right. So, I mean, but I don't think it's dead. I just think that, with the case of the Eagles, I just think that they ran into something that is just something that we're going to look at. I think like we're going to look at like 40, 50 years from now, like, man, the Chiefs had something just special. I mean, you can make a case of Kelsey being the greatest tight end in NFL history. Andy Reid is not only a Hall of Fame head coach, he's one of the 10 best offensive minds in NFL history. Mahomes is doing things that's never been done before. When they won Super Bowl against the 49ers, I think the Honey Badger will be in a Pro Football Hall of Fame someday. Chris Jones is building a Hall of Fame career. So, I mean, you have something exceptional in Kansas City. And I encourage Chiefs fans to kind of enjoy it, because I really think that when it's over, it's going to be over. And I think that, I'm trying to, keep the dynasty as long as possible, but I know it's like coming to an end. And I so yeah. All right. Sorry about that rant. Brady came into a pretty stacked team too, Perry. They had a great draft that season too. I mean, yeah, I kind of want to go on about that, but they had a really good defense. They had some nice pieces in play offensively, and the coaching staff was really top notch. So I don't believe in Mac Jones, but they're certainly giving him help. I only care about the Patriots winning 2 deep. Brady need Belichick. Belichick need Brady. Brady won without Belichick. Or actually, if Belichick can win without Brady. I'm not sure about Mac Jones. I'm just not sure. But what they did is they brought in Bill O'Brien. And I think what they're going to do is give Mac Jones an opportunity with Bill O'Brien. I think if it doesn't work, then I think you could see the Patriots going like, Trey Lance, maybe making a run at a college quarterback. Maybe making a run at somebody like a Sam Darnold. A Drew Lock's an interesting guy who's going to back up Geno Smith. He's a guy I think that could beat out several NFL starters. So it'll be interesting. I mean, the New England quarterback situation is going to be interesting. So all these games, all these division games, all of them to be determined is just great. I mean, you have some really good ones here. I'm kind of hoping that Washington does some crazy things. I'm kind of not seeing it. Chiefs and Chargers, of course, you hear it every year that this is going to be a Chargers year. I doubt it, but you never know. I'm secretly hoping this is for the division here, Vikings and Lions. Browns, Bengals could be. I mean, there's so many great games, so we're going to wait and see what happens. Andy Reid had been a great coach in Philly. He kept a good – you have to remember Andy Reid went to 5. I think it's 5. It may be 4 NFC. I'm pretty sure it's 5. It could be 4 NFC conference championship games until he finally won. Won one, but I mean, he kept on losing. Remember, he lost to Tampa Bay, where Tampa Bay never won a game below freezing in playoffs, and then Tampa Bay upset the Eagles. It was the very last game in Veterans Stadium. Eagles fans never forgave Andy Reid for that. But then, I think one thing I'll give him credit for is I remember it was week 3. When Andy Reid brought the Chiefs in, and Andy Reid said all the right things. He's like, it's just another game. And the Eagles gave Andy Reid a standing ovation. I thought that was awesome. But I'm pretty sure it was 5 straight NFC conference championship games. They kept on losing and losing and losing. And then finally they get through and lost to New England in the Super Bowl. And then the whole T.O. incident, blew up. So... But Andy Reid, I think when everything's said and done, I'm saying definitely top 10 offensive mind in NFL history. You can make an argument top 10 coach of all time. Top 10 offensive mind you can't debate. Top 10 coach you can. So, I think it'll be harder and harder to have a great run game with the defensive minds we have out there. All these simulated creeper pressures that really funnel the running back to defensive numbers. I mean, it could be. I mean, you have to realize Josh Jacobs had a great year. I think Nick Chubb, if he stays healthy, can have a great year. I think Derrick Henry, when you're a big back like that and you take all that punishment, it's a tough one. Jonathan Taylor had over 1,800 yards if he stays healthy. Here's the thing. It's harder to be a big back, I think, now because teams are just so fast. I mean, when Derrick Henry had that stretch, was it 2000? Yeah, we had that stretch in 2019. He had 3 consecutive 200-yard games, 2 of those in the playoffs. But I mean, that's kind of an aberration. So. Unless tackling it worse than major. And one thing is that NFL tackling is bad, but a major transition to leaner players. Yeah. A brain should help Jones. Super Saiyan Lions, welcome. Lions win home opener. They could. I got their schedule actually pulled up. Their home openers, Seattle, kind of a semi-revenge game. Interesting schedule. I'm looking at the week 13 through week 17 as a tough one because it's 4 road games and then you got Denver to be determined week 15 and you have some tough opponents. So it's going to be interesting. So that's my schedule, NFL schedule show. Over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to have different content out. I'm going to try to put a video together for sports bettors about some teams that I strongly recommend taking over-unders for yearly win totals. But I don't place any of my bets till closer to the season. You never know about injuries. You don't want to bet on a team and then a star player go down. So that's why I do it later. But I think I'm going to come out with that video. I'm leaning towards having that come out Tuesday. I'll probably make it Monday. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But Lions win home opener. It's a tough one. See, it's not going to be an easy game, but keep in mind because you play Thursday, you get a few extra days rest. So that's an advantage. I think it's going to be the Jets. I don't know how you can have the Jets be it. That's kind of how I'm hoping for, to be honest with you. It'd be a fun goal. It'd be a fun thing to do, I think. So I'm looking forward to it. We'll find out. But I think Jets. I think Jets. Trying to think who else would be kind of in the mix. Philly would be another team. I'm trying to remember. I think Philly was on Hard Knocks when Chip Kelly was there. I could be mistaken. I'm trying to remember the last time Philly was on, but maybe. It's really not that big of a deal, to be perfectly honest with you, because I think year one he's not going to play a lot, and then what's the most he's going to play? About 20, 30 snaps. I don't think it matters. I really don't think it matters. I think it was a great pick by Philly, but this is a guy that is not going to play a lot year one. Now, keep in mind they got Fletcher Cox, who's I think going to end up being a Hall of Famer someday. He's on a 1-year deal. Next year it's going to matter. This year's not. So, guys, I'm about 2.5 hours in. I'm going to wrap up here. If you have any final thoughts, questions, anything you want to ask, now's the time. But if not, I'm just going to wrap up. Call it the night. I want everybody to have a good weekend. I don't have it in the description, but go to my YouTube channel and do check out my Chiefs schedule breakdown video. I should have brought the talent in. I haven't seen the talent here tonight, which I should have brought him in for my Chiefs video. But hopefully I'll have that video out next week. I'm going to start breaking down NFL teams, and I don't have an exact date set out, but basically mid-July, I'm going to start breaking down all 32 teams on the videos coming out. I'm leaning towards having one come out a day, Monday through Friday. But I'll give you an announcement. I'll probably have an announcement on that in the very near future. And then hopefully next week I'll have that video out. So your surprise team and a team could have a bad season. I'll give you a surprise team for NFC. The Washington Commanders. Sam Howell just comes in, ready, balls out. Nobody sees it coming. They have a good defense. Washington's team nobody's looking at and could be a real surprise. I've mentioned this a couple of times. AFC Cleveland. I've been saying Cleveland's a team nobody's looking at, and you have an alien in Myles Garrett. He could always win defensive MVP every single year. He's that good. Deshaun Watson gets back to being a top 5 quarterback. You have something that could be really special. Team that could have a bad season. You know what? Let me hold on. Let me do this here. So I'm going to get on. Give me 1 second here because I should know this. Oh man, okay. So I'm going to playoff teams from last year. All right, playoff teams from last year. I'm going to give you a playoff team from last year could have a bad season. Miami could have a bad season. And then I'm not really sold on the Giants or Bucks. So Giants and Bucks, they made the playoffs last year. I'm not sold on either team. The Giants look like they made some good moves, but I kind of want to wait and see. It'll be interesting to see what the Giants do because they're a team that I could see taking this. On paper, they look better, but they're playing a tougher schedule. I don't know about Daniel Jones. Also, watch out for the Saints. The Saints are another team. A team in the AFC that could have a bad season that everybody's saying it could be a great team, but I think they're a team that's slipping is the Buffalo Bills. I mean, that AFC East is brutal, and they did take a step back. I loved their draft. Osiris Torrance, I think, could be an all-pro caliber guard, and Dalton Kincaid could be an absolute monster. So, oh, God. Skip the OnlyFans. I just heard he keeps lowering a bucket to himself and putting the best undrafted free agent. Man, I don't have a list. I really wish I had a list because there was 1 or 2 players that didn't get drafted I really like. I don't have a list off the top of my head. I wish I did. Oh God. Perry, can you do me a favor? If you don't follow me on social media, hit me up on social media. Give me a chance to go over the list because there's 1 or 2 players I really liked that I thought would get drafted, and I'm just drawing a complete blank. I'm glad you like that. Yeah. So here's the Buffalo should have won Super Bowl 2 years ago, just my opinion. That was their best chance. They had Brian Dable. They had a really, really, really good defense. They had Josh Allen at his best. They had Diggs at his best. Gabriel Davis had, I think, to date, he's going to be a guy that's always going to have flashes, but I don't think he's ever going to be consistent. But that team, if they beat Kansas City, keep in mind Kansas City, of course, got if you don't remember, so what happened is Eric Fisher blew out his ACL, right? So he blew out his ACL. So that was kind of the thing, I mean, the offensive line was bad, but if they go into the Super Bowl healthy, I would have loved that Super Bowl. Would Tampa beat them? Who says? But that's probably like what they did is they just kept on dropping. And I think they took a step back, but I love what they did in the draft. But I thought the Von Miller signing was not a good move because they invested a lot of draft capital already into the defensive line. And so signing Miller, who's not the same guy he was. Now, don't get me wrong, when he was healthy, he's played really, really good. But I don't think he's going to. I don't think you can count on Von Miller entering the playoffs at 100%. I just don't think he can. You give him a lot of money. You're giving over $90 million this year to Von Miller, Stephon Diggs, and Josh Allen, and I think that was a mistake, especially since you used a lot of draft capital on the defensive line. I think you should. I think you should have gone on a different window. I'll be honest. I almost think it's closed. I almost think it's closed. I'm not sure they can win the NFC. I'm sorry. I don't think they can win the AFC East. I really don't. I mean, yeah, I think you have 3 teams that are ready to overtake them. I think their best chance was 2 years ago. Keep in mind, can they use Dalton Kincaid correctly? If they can, then maybe they got a chance. Osiris Torrance, I think, could be an all-pro caliber guard. He was their second-round draft pick, phenomenal player. Had a huge man crush on him. They lose Singletary, really, really, really good running back. Is James Cook as good as his brother? There's some questions with Buffalo. I think it's closed. I really do. I think it's closed, but we'll have to wait and see. The safety of Notre Dame, I think so. There's somebody else. There's 1 or 2 other players. If you don't mind, Perry, do me a favor. Hit me up on DM, and if I don't get back to you today, I'll try to get back to you either tomorrow or later this weekend. But there's a few. Yes, we will pick him up, and I think if Am would be out, Craig. I'm sorry, man. I'm just drawing a blank. I'm sorry. I'm just drawing a blank. I'm at that note I'm going to wrap up here. Perry, by the way, all my social media links are below. Please follow me on social media. Be like One Pride 40 and DM me some really cool shit. And I'll see everybody back on Friday.